Shooting USA is brought to you by SnapSafe. Use promo code SUSA15 for 15% off. And by HiViz. See what you've been missing.
It's the Shooting USA update show for August 14th of 2025, and last night was a new episode on Outdoor Channel, the CMP's D-Day matches from the Talladega Marksmanship Park. Here's a clip.
Was it magazine in 5 rounds? Load.
At the start, it looks the same as it always has. 1911's on the line with targets at 25 yards. But for these competitors, today is a first. This historic match has a brand new course of fire, and it's a significant change.
This will be the first time it's actually been shot in competition here at Talladega. It's completely different than what was shot in the past. A little more sped up and not just the same slow roll of the competitions before.
Greg Rains from the CMP is primarily a shotgun shooter, but he's joining me on the line for this occasion. Some elements are business as before. 5-round magazines with 10 rounds fired per stage, including a required mag change.
Is the line ready?
From the ready, no draw required. We start with 10 sighters in 5 minutes. Nothing new here, plenty of time to get the feel.
I surrounded the target, now it's actually time to hit the black.
And then that's where it really goes interesting. So the first 10 competition shots will be single-handed from your strong hand. 10 shots in 60 seconds.
Not unreasonable, but it's already 10 seconds less than the fastest string in the old course of fire.
I didn't hit the metal that time, the metal frame. I think on the practice rounds I hit the metal frame twice.
Then it's going to change up a little bit again. It's all single-handed or two-handed.
Now it's time to actually get to business with both hands.
And then you'll have 50 seconds with the magazine change for 10 shots.
Well, admittedly, never really been a big fan of bullseye or service pistol, just because it seems slow. It always has seemed very slow. This is obviously not slow, and that makes it fun. The new as-issued pistol format is exciting, it's fun, it's 50 rounds, and I obviously need practice. Somebody who doesn't need practice but is making massive news in the gun community this week is Julie Golob, announcing her move to Springfield Armory after 20 years with Smith & Wesson. I called in a favor and got an interview. Here's Julie. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome longtime friend, multi-time world and national champion, author, veteran, mother, wife, all-around great person, Julie Golob, to the Update Show. Julie, welcome, and it's big news time.
Yes, thank you so much.
Quite frankly, it is a massive move in your career, having been a representative and brand ambassador and to some extent product development, maybe go-to person, but most importantly, on the championship stage, world and national, you have touted Smith & Wesson for more than 20 years, and now we are making a move to Springfield Armory. Tell me about it.
Oh my gosh. You know, it's one of those things that I can't say enough how grateful I am for the opportunity to have represented Smith & Wesson. I have worked for some of the best people, you know them too, and my time there, I'm super proud of everything that I've accomplished. It's one of those things where, you know, when you have a sports team and your favorite player goes to somebody else, you know, people are like, oh, you know, some people are a little angry and some people are really excited. I feel a little bit like that. But yeah, 20 years, 20 great years in total. But this new chapter is super exciting. I've long time been a fan of Springfield Armory. Of course, our mutual friend, Rob Latham, is the person I looked up to. I have this photo, John, of him. I'm ROing him in the 80s or the early 90s at the Miller Invitational in Fulton, New York. And, you know, just looking at him like, oh my gosh, you know, here's this guy. And then to be able to become a friend with him and then a teammate over the years, gosh, this is super exciting.
Well, it is going to be fun to work again, side by side. I shouldn't say again, but with Rob, his position in that company and his level of relevance and his credibility when it comes to all of the things that they're putting out into the market is frankly unprecedented. And I know they're going to draw from your long history and series of experience, and I just can't wait to see what's next. But I know now you've stepped into a whole new catalog of competitive firearms.
It's a little overwhelming. You know, I've had to okay, I've got to make space for all of this stuff. Like, these magazines go here and all of the organizational components. I have to say, I am absolutely stoked to shoot the Echelon. Been super impressed with that platform. You know, just the whole idea of mounting a red dot nice and low on the slide is a huge thing for anybody that's wanting to get into a production or a carry optics division, or even a carry gun for that matter. And so I'm really excited. That's where I'm going to focus first. I'm going to go back to some production optics time and have a little fun there.
Well, that I think will be interesting. I mean, right now, carry optics division in USPSA is hands down the most popular division going. I mean, it's a landslide at this point. And I think that gets me to the next question, which is, are we going to see you back out competing? Are you going to be flying the Springfield Armory flag in competition?
Definitely an action pistol still. One of the things about being in the shooting sports for so long, I've been able to tick off every goal that I wanted to do in the speedier sports like Steel Challenge, IDPA, USPSC, IPSC. So I still want that 1920, John. I'm going after it in Bianchi. Like, just the fact that we've seen so much evolution of the shooting sports over the past 10, 20 years, you almost have to be a specialist to thrive. It used to be we'd had 10 matches and everybody went to Bianchi, everybody went to USPSA Nationals, everybody went to Steel Challenge, Second Chance, all of that. But now we have these phenomenal shooters really specializing in very specific sports. We've seen it with Jessie Harrison in Steel Challenge, dominating, and especially with her open gun work. We see it in Revolver, of course, with Jerry Michalik over the years. So I want to get back to shooting a bunch of USPSA. I don't know how competitive I'll be compared to the phenoms out there, these speedy kids these days, but I'm super excited to just give it a try again, even at the local level, and have a lot of fun with a new platform. I think that's one of the best ways to really get your feet wet, is to go out and try a local match and just have a good time. And that's what so many of us do. You know, it's one thing to be like, oh, I got to win all the time, but it's another thing to have fun on the range.
Well, without a doubt, we look forward to seeing you every year at the Green Valley Rifle and Pistol Club for the Bianchi Cup. And this past year, your performance on the Barricade event was one that we just simply couldn't leave on the cutting room floor. Not many people saw it, and thanks to you for sharing it along through your channels as well. But a 480 48X Barricade says to me, you're not far potentially from your 1920. And if I'm not mistaken, becoming the first female shooter to make that achievement, I wouldn't doubt that you've done it in practice. What
Actually,
would
not.
you've never done it in practice?
No,
Okay.
I don't
right.
tend
well,
to
that's
shoot
news.
practice matches like that. I don't tend to do that. I usually focus more on one thing at a time. A lot of people in action pistol will practice match their way through everything. I don't, but no, I believe it's possible. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Not at all. I was getting to the question, which, I mean, I sort of lobbed that one in there, hoping that you were going to go, yeah, I've cleaned it in practice, no problem. It's a different thing to do it at the Cup, and it's true. It is a different thing to do it at the Cup. Ask our friend Mark Itzstein. He'll be back. What do you think, can you describe what your new Bianchi gun build is going to look like, utilizing now the new catalog?
it's going to be the great thing about working with Springfield 1911s, and I will stick with the 1911 platform because I do have small hands, is the fact that, one, there are so many different 1911s to choose from. The frames are top notch. And to be able to, instead of taking a current firearm already made off the production floor and kind of converting it and trying to make things work, we're going to be building things that'll be specifically purpose built for Bianchi. So it's going to be a tack driver no matter what. And then in the meantime, I think one of the best things that, I kind of tried my hand at some production optics at a side event at Bianchi Cup this year, that whenever you shoot something a little bit more difficult, it makes you really appreciate an open gun, and it just takes you to that next level. So I'm looking forward to shooting a bunch of production optics, maybe becoming the first lady master in production optics, which would be super cool.
Okay.
And so, yeah, lots of good goals to have.
Attainable goals, manageable goals, all things that make headlines, and those things then drive forward the Springfield Armory name. and I think they have hit it out of the park. One last Bianchi question. We know the rimfire division at Bianchi, the rimfire match, is continuing to gain some momentum. We had a big time being there and seeing some of the elite level competitors doing it, as well as some of the juniors, and there may be a couple of junior Golobs that might be getting involved. Is that possible? One in particular?
Yes. I've got one chomping at the bit.
I love it. Oh, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be so good.
She's definitely has a competitive nature. My youngest daughter. My oldest one is content and happy volunteering at matches, which is great. God bless her. We need more of those.
Yep.
But my youngest definitely has that little bit of a burn that she gets from, maybe her parents. I don't know.
I'm going to say she gets it honest from both sides of the fence. And while we're on that subject, you mentioned in your own video release that husband Simon played a big role in kind of helping you come to this big decision. You want to talk a little bit about that and what he's got going on?
I mean, I'm so fortunate, obviously, to have somebody who understands shooting and is a phenomenally talented shooter from a different aspect. He's coming at it not just from competition or R&D. He's coming at it from 27 years in law enforcement and traveling the globe. So he keeps me humble, but he also helps me realize my potential too. He's a big cheerleader, but he's also one of the persons who says, you can do better. And I think we all could use somebody like that in our lives.
You got it. Well, that's everything I got. And it looks like you might be in pickup line or headed somewhere. So I'll jump off. But hey,
all good.
Thank you again. And my sincere congratulations. I mean, we've known each other for my entire career at this point. So, man, when big news like that comes across the bow, I'm like, hey, I need to jump on and just throw this in front of my audience too. So thank you again for the time.
I appreciate it so much.
Let me know in the comments if you think a 1920 is in the cards for Julie. I do. Well, like I always do, and Jim used to do, I'm going to urge you to be intentional. Get somebody who doesn't necessarily know their way around a firearm and take them to the range. Be approachable, be friendly, share your sport.